I turn my camera around. You can't see me, not the phone does anyway. We're on the way to work on McCone's truck. Got to pull the transmission out of it. Thinking it's the only thing I can come up with is that it has a freeze plug that rusted out between the engine, right behind the flywheel and the engine block. So I pull the tranny out. I said tranny. Pull the tranny out, pull the flywheel off, dig out a freeze plug hopefully, and put another one back in it. Put it back together. Pull the intake off. Pull the valve cover off. Put a new valve cover gasket on it. I don't know if we're giving it right back to him. We'll probably keep it for a little while, or probably buying it from him. I don't know. We haven't really figured it out what we're going to do. We're going to try to just play it by ear, see what's wrong with it, and go from there, I guess. But if you haven't heard, Saudi Arabia did I don't know, it was a press conference, something. It was a big long speech. It was translated into English from somebody with the Blaze TV, and they could have said whatever. I don't know. I don't speak any Arabic languages. I'm just going by what they said. And the gist of it was that Russia could not lose this war to Ukraine. They couldn't take one step back. They couldn't give up the territory that they've taken. There's only one path forward, and that's a complete win over Ukraine. And I said this when the war started. Russia just wanted the buffer zone forward between Ukraine and Russia, so that NATO can put missiles right on its border. And Russia and Ukraine had a peace deal worked out, and NATO stepped in and said, no, that's not happening. And you see what it brought. I said then that now Russia's going to be taking all of it. They're going to be taking it all now. It's not just the buffer zone. They're going to want it all. They went on to say that nukes are not an option at this point. But, again, Russia cannot lose. And if, the West keeps butting its nose into what's going on, that there's a possibility that nukes will be used. I think that even though Ukraine, I don't know if Ukraine, I know they applied to be in NATO. I might lose you guys for a few seconds dropping down this hill. I know that they officially applied to be in NATO, even though NATO's already taken care of them, because we're a bunch of chumps, not we. NATO, NATO, in my opinion, is the beginning of what will be the New World Order. They've been playing daddy over there. The military effects. Your kids here from France, their steaks flown in from Sweden or wherever it is that they grow that special kind of cow at, or they grow that special vegetable at. And the path forward is grim. It doesn't turn out good for anybody except those at the top, and because they're, it's like, you ever heard of these saying it takes money to make money? They're breaking everybody. If you're not in that top, a couple percent, and even then at the low end of that couple percent, they're still breaking those people. But they're breaking you. Prices have gone through the roof. Social Security, they gave them a whole 5% raise or some shit. I'm like, well, that's really nice, especially when inflation, they say it was at 9%. It was more like 15 to 20% last year. And that's only going to get worse with time. Everything's more expensive. I went to buy springs for my truck, and they were $750 last year. The same spring from the same company was over $1,200 this year. Nothing different about them. No lift, there's nothing different about the identical part number. Car parts are far more expensive. I did a rebuild on my front end a year ago. I did it again a couple, 2 months ago or something, and it was damn near twice as much for the same exact parts from the same exact company. And that's across the board. Building materials fluctuate a lot. For the most part, though, they've went up and they've stayed up. Look at ammo prices. Ammo prices went through the roof there for a minute. It's definitely not back down to where it was, pre-COVID. and it's not going to go back down. I said that then. Like, you're going to get as cheap today as that's it. It's as cheap today as it's going to be. Yeah, it might go down $1 here or there, but for the most part, it is where it is. And I know there's not a good option out of this. I mean, the best option to get, but it's not going to happen. The best option is NATO backs out. The U.S. and European countries quit sending Ukraine missions and let happen what's going to happen. Ukraine made its bed, let it lay in it. But we can't let that happen though, because Ukraine is now the coin laundry. Catch my drift. Of the United States. All the people at the top are now funneling their money through. All those billions of dollars going to Ukraine went there, got kicked straight back. I'd hate to know how much money and munitions have went there, and vehicles and all kinds of shit. Who knows what they're sending them bastards? And there's no one on the ground directly giving that to them. It's coming out. They're shipping it to Poland or somewhere, and then it's going across the border. And who knows who's getting it? Half that shit's probably winding up in Russians' hands. In the meantime, we're dwindling our supplies of those things now, including our fuel supplies, all in the name of Russia, in the name of this thing called democracy. When fucking Russia or Ukraine's not a democracy, I mean, it's a dictatorship. Whichever man's a dictator, don't get it twisted. But they sell it as democracy, and people will latch onto it and buy into it, support it, continue to support the military, which is just a bunch of puppets who are nothing more than murderers for bankers and politicians. They don't do it because it's right, because it's the right thing to do, because it's moral, because it's their brothers. They're doing it because they're told to do it. No other reason. I started this live stream because I was thinking, man, I ain't done any lives in a while. There's nothing to really talk about. I don't spend my time on YouTube. I've been pretty busy lately. Hopefully I stay busy. And I don't, there's nothing that can be said that hasn't been said. I've said that plenty of times before, and it's the impossible task. There's no way out of it. There's too many pieces that need to be found to the puzzle in order to fix it, and it's just not going to happen. Nothing we're going to do is going to change what's going to happen. We can talk, we can show all the evidence, we can verify the facts, we can point out the inconsistency in the logic. It doesn't matter. They're not going to listen. They're concrete in their belief systems. I mean, you even see people that are, how do I say this? You even see people that, or that say that they're anti this administration or whatever, or anti whatever, they're pro freedom, right? Yet then they support the shit that's going on still. The bootlickers of the world, the shining example of this. How many thousands of videos do you have to see with cops crushing motherfuckers' skulls in? Do you need to see before you understand what you support? And even if it's just one cop in one place at one time, if you support them, you still support that. And the logic is just, I don't know a word for it. It just, it puzzles me. Is a priest that rapes children, even if he just rapes only one child, is he still a good man because he preaches every Wednesday and Sunday and feeds the poor? No, he's a fucking child rapist. Like cops do the same thing, and the logic is, well, it's not all cops. Well, yeah, it is. You just haven't caught them on video yet. But that ties in at a different level than to the Russian-Ukraine shit. If the police wasn't protecting politicians, do you think the politicians would continue spending trillions of dollars every year that they don't have? Fuck no, they would. How's government going to fear the people when the police are in the way, keeping that from happening? When they're protected, there's no reason to fear the people because the people fear the police. And when the people fear the police, shit like what's happening in Ukraine, from our country's standpoint, is allowed to happen. Nothing can be done about it. now. I can only affect my zone of influence, and that's all you guys can affect too is your zone of influence, what you can touch. If you can't touch it, you really can't affect it, you know. And I learned patience. I used to be really, really, really fucking impatient. I mean, like childish impatient. And there was a time, and I realized that I was at some place. Everything outside those walls, there was nothing I could do about it. I couldn't affect anything that was happening outside of those walls. No matter how bad it was, no matter what was happening. Damn bullshit. Damn bullshit. You just bullshitting me. I don't know if I'm live or not. He keeps telling me I am, and he keeps kicking me out. So I give it a second to see if I start talking to myself again. I know you can't see. It's okay. There's nothing to really look at anyway. Let's turn the camera around because I'm going to some place that nobody needs to know where I am. Everyone over here on Jonathan's truck. I was over here earlier. I got up on jack stands. I had something I had a good deal. So we're back now. Oh, I got to pick up a bunch of trash over here. We had a hellacious. We didn't catch the brunt of the storm, but we caught a hellacious windstorm today. So I had to pick up all this trash over here. I'm allowed to use the shop, and for that I do some things occasionally for the owner of the shop. Lady owns it. She don't use it. Her husband died a few years ago, so now I use it when I need it. And I got a key. I've got a key to her house because I'm such a piece of shit. Actually, I have a key to a few people's houses because I'm such a piece of shit. I gotta put some better lights in here though, because it's just not bright at all in here. But here's Pacone's truck, and we're about to pull the transmission pass and try to get it done in a short period of time. It needs a bunch of maintenance stuff. Jonathan is they wanted to shake. Jonathan lesson on maintaining shit. Just like so well, I got no. Oh, I can plug it in. That's why. That would help. Plug the heater in. I plug the damn lights in. Finally got a heater for out here now that's warming up. But anywho, so it was pouring water out of here. When I first popped the hood and looked at it, I started noticing everything is wrong. So this has to do with the heating and cooling system. I'm not sure what it does, but I think it just pulls a vacuum on it for some reason. So we gotta get that bit hooked back up. Got a bunch of shit back here in the corner, but that right there is a vacuum operated. It changes from hot to cold. So when we get the working, the air working the thing because it just was hot air all the time. You see, valve cover's leaking. It's got moisture all over the motor. That's probably where I had water on it the other day. So we're gonna get all this cleaned up for him. Get everything working right. But when you put water in it and pressurize the system, this thing's got the wrong radiator in it too. It's got that's the wrong one. It's got an automatic. I put water in the transmission around the motor. I thought it was just this weird thing. found out that wasn't what it was. So it looks like here. Hold on. Nope. I found out it's the only thing it can. I don't think, even if the block was cracked, I don't think crack enough through the cooling system. So we're gonna pull it out, change the freeze plug out in it, if that's in fact what is wrong with it, and put the transmission back in it. If that's not what's wrong with it, I'm gonna call Jonathan and we're gonna go from there. If I gotta put another motor in it, I'll probably wind up just buying the truck from him and putting a motor in it. Might do a V8 swap on it or something. Maybe go to a carbureted 302 or 351 or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out when the time comes, which is here in about 2 hours as soon as I get this transmission pulled out. So, but judging by, it just needs some maintenance shit. He's had the oil change on recently. It's got a new oil filter on it. It's not all, I don't know if you can see it back there. So he did oil changes on it. However, it's need a valve cover gasket on it for a while. It's a fucking mess. So we're going to do all that. We're going to do all the shit that needs done to it. We talked about getting the truck. This has all started, and he decided that he might not be doing what he said he was going to do. Therefore, I don't know if I'm still getting the truck or not. Regardless, we're going to fix it for him because they probably, I don't know what they would charge to do this. Maybe $1,500, maybe less, might be less. That's what I'd charge to do because I hate doing shit. I've been under enough vehicles in my life, but I'm done. The automatic transmission fluid is what you use in these for the manual transmission. You put automatic transmission fluid, it should look like fucking oil. So it hadn't been changed in a long while. So it was having it. So, well, I'm going to go. I gotta get this done. It's actually a really nice truck. I mean, it's got a little rust on the fender and right over this wheel well. Other for that, well, this wheel well. Oh, this cab corner. That's what it was. So this cab corner and this fender. Other than that, it's actually a really nice truck. It's a short wheelbase F-150. I don't like the long wheelbase. I had it 94. I had the same truck, but mine was a long wheelbase. It had new polyurethane bushings put in it at some point. The frame's actually in really shape. It's not rusted out. This is the bedside, so a little rust on it. Interior bench seat. This is a base model truck, bench seat, rubber floor, which I like the rubber floors in them. So if we get it, we'll probably be pulling this bench seat out of it and putting a set of bucket seats on the console in it because I hate the bucket seats are hard on my back and shit. But it's got the 4-speed with overdrive in it. Any of the car guys know what this is. It's the old 4-speed transmissions with the, they call it granny gear and bulldog and all that other shit, whatever you want to call it. It's got the super low first gear. That's what this transmission is. Plus it has an overdrive. So these trucks will actually pull a ton of weight. I used to pull all kinds of shit with mine. I even actually pulled a skid steer with mine one time. But without a brake controller, you gotta have a brake controller. You can pull a lot of weight like that. Because without brakes, even my F-250, without a controller brakes, doesn't work. So one more thing, we gotta take it off the list. Dip out and get this done. Man, I'm ugly. Ugly. Fuck, I am. How you guys doing? At the same time, 50 Jewish families and 8% of all wealth. Where do you see the Ukrainian? I don't know any. They are all Jews. So. Hey, I don't think you're wrong with that. I have a problem with the only blanket statement I'll put out there about any group is, for the most part, any group that is on our level, that doesn't sound right. I don't like using blanket statements for groups, whether it be blacks, Jews, whites, whatever. But I want faith. How about that? Yeah, Bohemian Grove needs to go too. I mean, just like that. We know that shit's there. We know what they do, but nobody stops it. Why? The whole truck. It's still his truck. It's still his truck. I went and got it to fix it for him. Long story. He called me and asked me if I wanted the truck, and I told him I didn't feel right about taking it from him. I didn't have the money to buy it from him at the time, but I didn't feel right about just taking it from him either. So long story short, I was like, hey, how about this? I'll come get the truck, I'll fix it, I'll drive it, or I'll bring it back to you. If I can't really tell this story because it's his information to tell. I don't know if he's broke the news to, I don't know if he's told anybody or not. He was planning on doing something. He wasn't going to need the truck. So he said I could have the truck. I said, I don't really want the truck like that. I want it, but I don't want to just take it from you. So how about I take it, I'll fix it, I'll bring it back to you. You use it, and then if you decide the time comes that you don't need it no more, I'll come get it and I'll take it at that point. Or I'll buy it from you or whatever. So when I got it here though, and I figured out what was wrong with it, I called him and I'm like, hey, here's what's wrong with it. Here's the possibilities. Either A freeze plug rusted out, no big deal. Pull the transmission, pull the freeze plug, put a new freeze plug in it, put it back together, good to go. And I'll fix all the other little shit that's wrong with it. That way you have a good, nice running truck. You got AC in the summertime. Or the block cracked, which I don't really see happening. The block cracked on because this happened in the summertime. It wasn't freezing out for it to freeze. So it's a freeze plug. But if the block's cracked and we got to put another motor in it, I don't have the money to invest in a motor right now, especially in a truck that's not mine. So at that point, I either have to figure out where you have to go with the price I can buy it from you, or you'll have to give me the money to put a motor in, or we'll have to split it, or we'll have to do something to get it back on the road because it can't stay in the shop. But I'm not taking it apart to put it back together while it's still fucked up. So if I take it apart and then when it needs more shit, we got to put more shit in it to get it going. So I just told him, we came to the conclusion I was going to pull the transmission out, see what was wrong with it, and we'll go from there. So that's what we're doing. It's actually a nice truck, though. I don't know how many miles it was on it. I got the battery in, folks. So it's got dual fuel tanks on it. I wish my Ford had dual fuel tanks on it. I might put dual tanks on mine. I got a transfer tank for my Ford. I dropped you. I don't know if you'll be able to see, but I got the transfer tank for my truck finally. I've been talking about it forever because, like when I go to Cones, I got to stop and get $75 worth of fuel to make it back. And I get fuel cheaper than that, so it doesn't make any sense for me to pay more for fuel. And there's some other reasons too. Like the biggest reason is when I got equipment. So you get equipment for 8 hours, the equipment will only run 6 hours at full throttle until you got to load it up and go get more fuel, which costs time, and time is money. So I found a transfer tank for $600. I think I paid the guy. $600 or $700, but it's got a brand new 15 gallon per minute pump. The pump's like $400, and then the tank is actually, oh, you can't see it. The tank is actually for my truck. It's for a short wheelbase truck. So see how skinny it is in the middle? You can't see. See, it's wide here and skinny in the middle. So it's for a short wheelbase truck, or short bed truck. I'm sorry. So I just ain't had time to unload it. I was thinking about putting it in, but if I do, I'm going to lose about 10 inches of bed space, and then I'm going to have to raise my toolbox 3 inches, which ain't a big deal. It'll be back here somewhere, which you can't see. So I thought about just putting it on a pallets until I need it, and then I can just unscrew my toolbox, pull the toolbox out, and put the tank in. But it's summertime. I'm going to be using equipment all the time, so might as well just put the son of a bitch in. I probably will over the weekend. I'll probably just stick it how it goes. I got to swap the pump out, swap the fill tube out because he has them on the wrong side. I don't know why he did them that way, because his fill was on the driver's side also. That way when I fill it, I can just fill them both at the same time. But it's a 100-gallon tank. I think it's 101 gallons. They say that normally when they're rated at like 101 gallons or something, that they actually only hold about 15% less of that. But we'll find out. I want to fill it up. We'll find out. So now though, I can go like 15 to 700 miles without needing to fuel up anywhere though. So I hate these fucking door locks. I hate barn door locks like these. There's got to be a better system out there. It's actually not really out. I gotta clean it up. We're gonna move some stuff around so we can get 2 vehicles in here. There's already a lot of shit in here. Bass boat in here. Oh, you can't see again. You're still gonna see. There's a bass boat in here. A bunch of my shit back here. My generators back here. A lawnmower. My trailer's in here. And like all this shit's her husband's stuff that died, and you know, she don't use it. She said that she'd rather me use it than it just sit out here. The only time she uses this space is when it's corn shucking season. If she had corn season, because she calls it. It's upstairs too. It's not a shop. I like to have a shop this big. Like a storage space. We got to go through all this stuff and see what's needed, what's not needed. So, but if I build it, I would probably take the storage area out to the next truss, even though you'd have to climb underneath it, or I'd do something with this truss to get it out of the way. It's a nice building though. 1, 2, 3, 3 trusses and 4 gable trusses. Yeah. Or 2 gables. Here's what, oh, you can't see it now. It's all drained out. Now you kind of can see it. That's what the fluid looked like in that transmission. It was black. It looked like oil, but it was transmission fluid though. It was supposed to be. This might be for sale if anybody wants a Husqvarna lawnmower. It runs everything. It hasn't been used in years. I got it running last summer. It had a bunch of bad gas in it. The only reason it wasn't running. I think she's going to sell it just because she don't use it. It's got a 25 horse cooler on it. I just bought this to heat the shop because there's no heat out here. It looks like shit because somebody let it overspray. They're fucking idiots, man. I guess they might have had it in a house or something where they were spraying paint. I bought it because when we tear our floor out, I didn't want it to be cold in the house. And plus, I needed one for over here too. But the main reason is because I didn't want it to be cold in the house. We're getting ready to tear the floor out. We got all the shit moved around in there. It's just about ready to do. And I didn't want it to be cold in the house. So I bought this. Well, this is way fucking overkill for what I need. It takes about 2 minutes to heat the shop up. But since it has overspray in it, but since it was overspray with paint, when you shut it off, it smoked because there's paint inside of it that's still burning off. But it works good. Boom! Gotcha. See, burn the paint off. Sparks coming down. You probably can't see them. Generator out. Power's been off all day at my house, so I gotta pull the generator out and take it to my house so we can hook it up and get some heat and stuff over there tonight when we go to sleep. So I gotta go wash that thing too. The car hauler I use, car dolly. I'll just wash it next time I use it. So I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I got a boat in the way now. I can't get the boat out to get the dolly out, to get the generator out. I doubt I can lift that big son of a bitch myself. Anyway, I'm gonna go. I gotta get to work. Oh, here's a big ass kitchen tent, military kitchen tent. He said it was brand new, but he wasn't using it. He's like, "Hey, you want it?" I was like, "Fuck it, throw it in the back of the truck. Maybe we'll find something to do with it." Big canvas military kitchen tent's what it is. Thing, it's huge. I mean, look, it takes up the whole bed of the truck. I don't know what size it is, but that damn heater's already got it warm in here just about. I think there's a lot of heat out, man. A lot. Anyhow, we'll go. You guys have a fabulous fucking night, and do more to affect your zone of influence. Hey Paul, what's up, buddy? When are you coming down, bro? Jay, I thought about having a bonfire the other night, man. I don't know. I guess it might depend on what time I get home tonight. I'm going to be here for a little bit working on this. I think I paid like $100 for that thing. I got a really good deal on it, but it was also painted. He wanted 150 for one. That thing's fucking covered in paint, which means the inside of it's covered in paint, which means it's going to smoke when you turn it off. As you can see, it's smoke coming out of it. It's all paint burning off inside of it. I bet it's caked on as much inside as the house. Probably more, because it's probably sucking it all in, dumbasses. But you can't use them inside anyway. You on your way down yet, Paul? You too, Beth. Have a good weekend. Chickens will love the heater. It would kill them, I think. I mean, like, this is a big shop. I don't know how big it is. I don't have a measuring tape on me. I would say it's probably, well, those are probably 10 or 12 feet apart. I'll be with it. Those are 10 feet. So 10, 20, 30. It's 40 by that thing on to heat this thing up enough. When it was cold out, it was probably 30 degrees out one night. Me and Traden were out here, and it probably took 5 minutes to heat the shop up. So it works really well. I'm supposed to be buying another one that's small, but I don't think I want to turn that on and point it toward the chickens, though. You know, I want to build a kiln though, and probably use one of them for it. Yeah, I like the old shorter step side F-150s. Man, I see a lot of around here. I see a lot of old. I know where two old like 78, 79 square body Chevy step sides are at, full-wheel drives. They're just sitting there. I want to start building shit again, man. I want to start doing more shit that I like to do. You know, I've gotten away from all that since I've had kids. Ain't had really no fast cars. Haven't built nothing. So maybe I'll get together with me and Silas. Silas is really into motors and cars and shit like that. I've been wanting to find a project for him to build a four-wheeler dirt bike, and I just can't find one at the right time. If I'd had a in Ohio, I'd have came back with a loaded down with shit that I would have bought. I found so much shit up there on Mark's place in about 15 minutes I could have made money on it. I just didn't have a trailer with me, and there was no way I could have got in the bed of my trunk with a transfer tank in it. But I think we're going to I want to keep saving, and when I get enough money, I'll probably buy a Fox Body Mustang or something and get Silas to help me build it. He really enjoys doing stuff like that. Trevor needs the experience doing it. He's 16. He's going to be getting his license soon, and we need to get him wrenching on shit too, because Dad, I'm getting old. You know what I mean? I'm getting way too old to roll around the ground. I don't mind so much on the concrete, but in gravel, I'm done with that shit. I'm done working on shit in gravel. No more. So right now I'm about to get our mission from the motor, pull the speedometer cable out, got to pull the reverse light shit out. I gotta pull the shifter out first. And after that, if I remember right, it's got 4 Phillips head screws in it. I ain't done one of these in a long time. 4 Phillips head screws in it, 10 millimeter. That's what I hate about using another box that ain't mine. It ain't set up, but I don't want to. She said I could do whatever I wanted with it, but I don't feel right about moving a dead man's tools. You know what I mean? It's bad enough I'm already using them without his permission. I'm sure he wouldn't mind. She don't mind. There we go. Still, I just don't feel. Look at these old wooden. You remember these? The wooden handle. Sears. Didn't Sears make these? Screwdrivers. So, all right, I gotta go. I gotta get this shit done. If I don't do it, it ain't gonna get done. But you guys have a wonderful night. Stay safe.